there, welcome back to our show. Today I'm going to talk about Shinya Tsukamoto's Nightmare Detective 2, which is one of those films that's really hard to find. I mean, for a while I had a copy of any subtitles, which you can't really watch because you need the dialogue. This one is depending dialogue at times to explain certain things. So that doesn't work if you're trying to understand the story. But it is available if you're looking. There actually is. If you're looking eBay, there are some copies available from China with English subtitles. You just have to go and look for them. But it is a Blu-ray set with Nightmare Detective 1 and 2. But Nightmare Detective 2 is... The Tsukamoto film is really hard to find. It's the one that gets very little distribution. I mean, you can find a lot of his other films available through, Third Window. And if you check Terracotta site, you'll find Tsukamoto films quite easily. They're releasing Vital this month, and they're releasing his new film this month as well. Tsukamoto is one of my favourite directors, but this was one I had not seen. I'd just never seen this one. I was looking forward to seeing it, but it was one of those ones that just take for ages to see. And of course, it's one of his best ones. Now, Tsukamoto is one of those directors that his weakest films would be good for most directors. Like, the one I like least is Hikaru the Goblin, which got good responses from some people. I thought it was a bit bland for Tsukamoto. I like the Third Iron Tetsuo film, even though a lot of people don't like it. But generally, his films are to a very high standard of quality. And this one was very strange. It never got a release really overseas. You can get the first Nightmare Detective on Amazon streaming, and you can find it on disc, but the second one is really impossible to find for some reason. I don't know if it's a rights issue or what it is. It's just impossible to find, which is a real shame because it's a better film than the first one. The first film is a bit more conventional genre film. Tsukamoto does genre films once in a while, but he always does them his way. But this one, the Nightmare Detective 1, it's still a strange film for the genre, but it's compared to some of Tsukamoto's great films like Vital and Gemini and Kotoko and things like that. It feels kind of minor compared to them, but it's still a very good film. Nightmare Detective 2 is a much higher level. It's sort of a weird thing where a director does a project and realises there's more to this project than I got the first time round. I can do more with it. And the second time round, he made a full Tsukamoto film, where the genre constraints aren't as much interest to him. It's about what the story means to the characters, and as you go on, you realise that all the horror stuff is tied to character and try to what every character is about. It only really is like 3 central characters in the film. The rest of the characters are minor, really, or supporting characters. So the film starts with the Nightmare Detective's having nightmares about his past, about his mother, and about his father, and what happened to his mother years ago. At the same time, he's not taking any cases, but this girl comes around saying she's been haunted in dreams because she made a mistake and she played a trick on somebody who now hasn't come back to school, and she's feeling guilty, and she's having nightmares. And basically is like, how do I deal with this? And he just says, go and apologise. If you made a mistake, go and apologise to the person. That's what they need to hear. She tries to get her friends to apologise, but everything goes wrong. And it's a very small story, but Tsukamoto does great with it because he actually focuses, the way horror should, is like, it's not about tons of special effects. It's what does the horrific events mean to the person involved in them, rather than what over-the-top scary things can I do, what special effects I use. This film uses very basic techniques. I mean, there's nothing here that, will blow your mind special effects wise. It's a low-budget film, but he does a lot with suggestion, with camera movement, with Tsukamoto does not direct like he's trying to do like a perfectly composed image. It's that the image is always tied to the person who he's portraying. It's what they feel and what they think, and the camera movement goes with that, which is very hard to do and not make it look like a jumble. But Tsukamoto always does it. I have a feeling he does a lot of work in post production, just like refining, making sure it's right, and getting rid of any dead spot that needed. Because his films are always fairly short. I mean, that's a director who sometimes has films that are like an hour 20 or an hour 15, because he just pares them down to the essence, so you get the feeling of it, so you don't feel an indulgence. Everything's connected to the character, so he does that in this film as well. So the horror is all about the supernatural, how it affects people, and what it tells people about themselves, and what it tells people about their own motivations and their own actions. And so the three characters are the girl who did the trick, the girl who was a victim of the trick, and the nightmare detective. And your sympathies change as the film goes on, and in different ways. But it's all about three people who are damaged in different ways, and who have different reactions to things. And it's what happens when people who are damaged have like gifts that can get out of control. And that's it. That's all the film is, and it works beautifully. This is a beautiful film. This is one of my favourite Tsukamoto films. It just works, and it's amazingly precise in its horror and what the horror means. There's never a sense of this is a horror set piece because the horror set piece is needed. It's about someone doing something, whether good or bad, and why they're doing it, and what the consequences of them doing it are. And that's what the drama is. You're always involved in it because it's what people are doing are clear, but what the reactions and what the reverberations of their actions, what will that create with other people. So it's basically using supernatural to suggest what people do and say to each other and how it reverberates in real life, but they use supernatural as basically the anchor for the audience to get inside people's heads. So it's just a wonderful film, very human. I mean, in Kotoko, Tsukamoto would go on and be able to do that without the supernatural, really. But here he uses supernatural, he uses it perfectly well, so it's nothing that feels, the way in a lot of horror films, supernatural feels like a lazy device, and this one it doesn't. It feels like a curse on these people, and something that has to be reckoned with, and something that can be dangerous. So it's really a wonderful film. I don't want to go on forever about it though, because I'm trying to avoid explaining all the twists and turns and things. So there really aren't that many. It's just like, it's much more about the characters, but also I want you to see it and see how good it is, because one of the big ways of this film is to experience how it comes across, how everything's done, the revelations, and the character moments, and the endings are all-time great moment. I know. So this is a high recommendation. This is one of the best films I've seen all year. It is just beautiful, and just rush out and try and find it wherever you can. Try and find it. I mean, you can get it from China. They have releases. I mean, you have to go through eBay, and you're gonna have to wait a month to get it, but you can get it. But it's very difficult to hold off for some reason. It's just a distribution thing. My feeling is it must have not done well. No one really wants to put the money into it, but it is just wonderful. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this inspires you to go and look for this film. Bye for now.